Welcome back to the Black Star universe, where if you ain't boxing with fate, then fate's throwing haymakers all day. Today, I'm letting you step into the ring with the heavy hitters, some of the wildest characters in this universe. I'm talking Arrow, Lucien Solara, Crossbone, the Hollow Man, the Red Menace, Animal, and Jermaine Duval. Trust me, you're gonna want to know these names, because in this world, legends ain't born, they're forged in fire. With that being said, let's get into it.
Born in 1995 in New York City, Tobias Grant grew up in a loving but financially struggling household. He was raised by a close family member who instilled strong values in him. Always feeling destined for greatness, Tobias excelled in both academics and sports, displaying a genius-level intellect and natural combat ability from a young age. After years of training under a renowned martial artist, he honed his skills in both hand-to-hand combat and engineering. His life took a drastic turn when his RNA was unlocked, granting him enhanced physical abilities. Rather than seeking personal gain, he chose to use his gifts to protect others. His first true test came when he faced off against a high-tech mercenary working for a secret organization. This battle pushed him to his limits but cemented his resolve. Over time, he built his own high-tech suit, combining his intellect and newfound abilities to become Arrow, a beacon of hope in a chaotic world. As he gained recognition, he initially operated as a solo hero, but later joined a larger hero organization, where he became a respected figure among his peers. While he works within the law, he remains independent-minded, always questioning the systems in place to ensure true justice is served. Now, Arrow fights to protect the innocent, dismantle corruption, and inspire the next generation of heroes, never losing sight of his ultimate goal.
Sneak peek.
Lucien Solara was born into the royal family of Solaria, the son of the king and queen. From an early age, Lucien was taught the importance of duty, leadership, and honor. While he was groomed for the throne, his upbringing was balanced by experiences with the common people, instilling in him empathy and a strong sense of justice. Lucien's early training included rigorous physical combat, strategic war tactics, and magical combat. Learning from ancient texts and artifacts to harness his innate magical abilities, Lucien rose through the ranks of Solaria's military, not through birthright, but by proving his worth on the battlefield. Starting as a low-ranking soldier, he earned his title of Warrior Prince by demonstrating unmatched combat prowess, strategic brilliance, and the ability to inspire his troops. His early victories earned him a reputation as a fierce warrior and brilliant tactician. And at age 21, Lucien solidified his place in history by leading a successful campaign against a rival kingdom and embarking on a dangerous artifact hunt. At age 25, Lucien faced a deep betrayal within his ranks, a painful event that taught him the importance of trust and loyalty within his inner circle. Despite the personal pain, it only hardened his resolve as a leader. At age 28, Lucien achieved his highest honor when he played a key role in negotiating a successful peace treaty, earning him the admiration of both allies and enemies. This diplomatic achievement, combined with his military leadership, solidified his status as Warrior Prince of Solaria.
Sneak peek.
Ray Hamilton, known to the world only as Crossbone, was raised by a ruthless secret organization that molded him into a living weapon. From childhood, he was subjected to brutal training, forced to fight, to survive, and conditioned to believe that emotions were weaknesses. He became a master assassin, hacker, and tactician, executing missions that reshaped the global power structure. At 22, his fate changed when he discovered an ancient tablet that granted him supernatural abilities, amplifying his already formidable skills. With these newfound powers, he rose to dominance, creating a vast criminal empire and waging war against global factions. However, his reign took a dark turn when a supernatural entity showed him a vision of the future one, where his actions led to humanity's extinction. Haunted by the horrors he had unleashed, he abandoned his empire and dedicated himself to redemption. Now, he fights from the shadows, battling rogue AI, crime syndicates, and supernatural forces, while struggling to outrun his past.
Sneak peek.
Jericho Ward was born into a family of skilled supernatural hunters. From an early age, he was trained to battle the forces that lurked just beyond the veil of reality. His family were protectors, skilled in ancient rites and combat, dedicated to keeping supernatural threats at bay. However, a terrible supernatural event forever altered their fate. His family became cursed, and the price of their actions led to irreversible consequences. Jericho's life took a dark turn when he was captured by a secret organization obsessed with creating the ultimate warrior to fight the supernatural. This organization infused him with powerful supernatural abilities, altering his very essence. The process was brutal, and Jericho became something more than human, forever scarred by the experience. Following the experiments, Jericho found himself recruited by a government faction that trained him to fight supernatural forces. His purpose was clear: to wage an eternal battle against the horrors that lurk just beneath reality. Over time, he became the world's most formidable weapon, yet the toll of immortality began to wear on him. He witnessed countless battles, made innumerable sacrifices, and watched as many of his allies fell. At the age of 30, Jericho witnessed a catastrophic supernatural event that confirmed his worst fears: the world was doomed. A terrible eldritch god, an ancient being beyond comprehension, was awakening. Jericho's role as humanity's final protector was sealed, and his mission became clear: kill the god before it could destroy the world, even if it meant sacrificing his own soul.
Sneak peek.
Marcus Benjamin was born into great wealth. His family, consisting of successful entertainers, provided him with every material possession one could desire. Despite his privileged upbringing, Marcus struggled with emotional isolation, feeling disconnected from his parents, who were often preoccupied with their careers. Popular among his peers for his wealth and status, Marcus never formed deep, lasting relationships, leaving him with a constant feeling of emptiness. As a child, Marcus showed great promise in academics and athletics, but he lacked direction. He often channeled his inner turmoil into physical training, honing his body and mind. Around the age of 10, he began noticing unusual abilities manifesting superhuman strength, agility, and an almost unnatural awareness of his surroundings. In his teenage years, Marcus initially used his powers for personal gain, indulging in the luxuries his wealth afforded him and using his abilities for attention. However, after witnessing a tragic event, a senseless act of violence, where a loved one was harmed, Marcus underwent a profound transformation. He realized that his powers could be used for something much more important: fighting for justice and righting the wrongs of the world. This realization marked the beginning of his journey as the Red Menace, a mysterious vigilante determined to enact real change.
Sneak peek.
Cairo was born and raised in New York City in a loving, though emotionally distant household. His parents were successful professionals but often absent, leaving Cairo to care for himself and his younger sister, Alana. Cairo hid his powers from Alana to protect her, but she admired him deeply and viewed him as her hero. Cairo's powers first manifested when he was bullied at school, reacting instinctively with heightened speed and strength, overpowering his aggressors. This event led his parents to homeschool, and Cairo began to hone his abilities through trial and error. He self-taught himself to control his abilities, focusing on his physical training, parkour, martial arts, and meditation to manage his animalistic instincts. He struggled with his primal urges, but eventually learned to embrace them as a part of who he was, rather than something to suppress. Cairo's mission as a protector of animals began after he discovered a poaching ring threatening a wildlife sanctuary. He used his powers to stop the poachers and expose the corporation behind the illegal activities. Although the corporation went underground, this marked the start of Cairo's lifelong dedication to protecting vulnerable animals and dismantling illegal operations. Cairo's mission took him to Africa, where he worked to protect endangered species and ecosystems. He became known as Animal for his ability to track poachers, relocate animals, and dismantle criminal organizations. His work as a wildlife conservationist led him to confront dangerous enemies, including a corrupt hero using their powers for personal gain, whom Cairo managed to stop without causing harm.
The final sneak peek.
Corbin Guthrie grew up in a world that valued power over the well-being of its people. His early years were marked by loss, with his mother being murdered by corrupt officials who were supposed to protect her. The tragedy hardened him and fueled his determination to destroy the corrupt systems that ruled over his city. After years of honing his skills in martial arts, Corbin encountered an ancient, toxic entity that offered him its power in exchange for his humanity. He accepted the bond, becoming Toxin, an instrument of vengeance and chaos. Now, Toxin travels across different realities, dismantling corrupt regimes, exposing their lies, and taking down anyone who stands in his way. His actions are not driven by a desire for power, but by a deep desire to make the world a better place, one destroyed corrupt system at a time. Jermaine Duval was born into chaos. His father was a feared gangster, drug dealer, and supernatural hunter for hire, while his mother was a drug addict trapped in a cycle of abuse. His father ran a brutal operation, getting people addicted to drugs and feeding them to vampires in exchange for power and influence. Though Jermaine admired his father's fearlessness, he despised the way he used his power. At age 8, his world was shattered when a faction of vampires turned on his family. Their home was raided, his father was killed, and his mother was drained dry. Jermaine and his younger sister Jalaiah were left alive by the vampire leader, who believed their tragic upbringing would keep them weak and broken. Instead, it forged them into warriors. After wandering the streets, they were taken in by Darnell and Tasha, old family friends who moved them to Gary, Indiana to start fresh. Darnell, a master martial artist trained in over 10 disciplines, pushed Jermaine and Jalaiah through relentless training, forging them into living weapons. Their training reached monk-like intensity, and by age 15, they were already considered legendary martial artists. At 18, Jermaine worked at a community center teaching self-defense, but a vampire ambush left him near death. To save him, Darnell performed an ancient ritual, sending Jermaine's soul to the astral realm where he faced his higher self. Instead of fighting, his higher self prepared him for his destiny and offered him a spirit merge with one of 3 animals. Jermaine chose the puma, gaining supernatural abilities without altering his human form. With his newfound power, Jermaine dedicated himself to protecting the innocent from supernatural and human threats, embracing the path of the warrior.
I appreciate you staying till the end of this video. It really means a lot. Please help me out. Like, comment, and subscribe. And hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Peace.